Daniel Hayes never looked like a hero. To most, he was just a tired single dad who worked 2 jobs, delivery by day, security guard by night. He had a wiry build, hair cut short out of habit, and eyes that always seemed older than his age. His 9-year-old daughter, Lily, was his entire world. On that evening, Daniel had saved just enough money to take Lily to an upscale restaurant she had begged to try. She loved the idea of fancy food and had spent the afternoon practicing her best manners in front of a cracked bathroom mirror. For Daniel, watching her joy was worth every dollar he had scraped together. The restaurant was buzzing. Businessmen in suits, couples celebrating anniversaries, and waiters weaving through with trays of wine glasses. But at the far end of the dining hall sat a man who commanded quiet power, Victor Langston, a billionaire CEO known for his ruthless business tactics. Some admired him, some despised him. Tonight, though, he was just another diner. As Daniel tried to enjoy the rare piece of eating with Lily, the doors slammed open. 5 men in dark jackets stormed in, faces set with grim purpose. Their eyes locked on Langston. In an instant, screams erupted, chairs toppled, and waiters ducked for cover. "Stay down," Daniel whispered, pulling Lily close under the table. His heart pounded, not from fear, but from recognition. The men moved like professionals. This wasn't random. This was a planned strike. Security guards rushed forward but were easily overpowered. One of the attackers grabbed a broken bottle and swung. Another yanked Langston from his chair, pinning him against the wall. Guests sobbed, frozen between terror and disbelief. Daniel's instincts screamed at him. Years in the military had trained him to assess threats, calculate movements, and act with precision. But he wasn't a soldier anymore. He was just a father trying to raise his daughter in peace. "Daddy," Lily whispered, her small hand clutching his arm. "They're going to hurt him." Her voice was what broke the hesitation. He couldn't unsee the fear in her eyes, the same fear he had promised she'd never feel in his presence. Daniel took a slow breath. The warrior he had buried long ago began to rise. He pushed Lily gently toward a waitress hiding nearby. "Take her," he whispered. "Keep her safe." Then, without fanfare, Daniel stood. The others turned. One lunged at Daniel with a knife, but Daniel's movements were smooth, almost too fast to follow. A twist of the wrist, a step forward, and the weapon clattered to the ground. He struck with precision, not wild rage, but controlled skill born of years in combat zones where hesitation meant death. Victor Langston watched, stunned, as this ordinary-looking man dismantled trained aggressors one by one. Daniel moved with the clarity of someone who had once lived every day between life and death. Chairs cracked, bodies hit the floor, and shouts turned into groans of defeat. Within minutes, the 5 men were down, restrained, disarmed, and barely conscious. Silence fell heavy over the restaurant. Patrons peeked out from their hiding spots, eyes wide in disbelief. Daniel stood over the fallen attackers, chest rising and falling. He didn't raise his arms in victory. He didn't bask in the shocked applause that began to ripple. He simply turned back to the corner where Lily waited, her eyes brimming with tears. He walked to her, knelt down, and whispered, "It's okay, baby. Daddy's here." Police swarmed in minutes later. Reporters followed. Everyone wanted to know, who was this man who saved Victor Langston's life? But Daniel didn't care for headlines. He just wanted to go home with his daughter. Yet, before he could leave, Langston himself approached. The billionaire, who had spent his life wielding money as power, looked humbled. "You saved me," he said quietly, almost in disbelief. "Why?" Daniel's reply was simple. "Because my daughter was watching." That night changed everything. Not just for Langston, who would later re-evaluate his empire with newfound perspective, but for Daniel, who realized that no matter how hidden his past, his skills, or his sacrifices were, his quiet strength mattered. And for everyone who heard the story, one truth remained clear. Sometimes the strongest protectors are the ones who never seek recognition.